Perhaps we've taken legacy broadcast media a little bit for granted, boys.
Mm,
Because, yeah, yeah. Despite
what do you mean?
indiscriminately raising their prices year after year, poor little old Netflix can't even handle a huge influx of their
Oh shit,
subscribers tuning into one of the biggest sporting events in recent memory. You guys tune in for the fight of the century?
I did. Shout
Mm.
out Stream East. I ain't paying for
Yeah.
no Netflix. Definitely ain't paying for Netflix after that shit.
Stream East, meth streams. They must have gotten
Meth
the
stream.
huge influx. Did you watch, Dusty?
No, I did not watch it.
Okay. Well, I just thought it was a little bit funny because hundreds of thousands of users were complaining about,
Oh
myself
man,
included, buffering.
it
Shit
was
was
bad.
like 2p quality.
Right.
Now, the premium membership on Netflix is now $22.99 per month,
Low.
with the option to add extra members for $7.99 per person. Of course, folks, we're talking about the Tyson versus Jake Paul fight. More than 60 million households apparently around the globe tuned in, and it was not great. So, quote from Netflix themselves, it was a record-breaking night, peaking at 65 million concurrent streams. They stated in a release on Saturday, and their chief technology officer, Elizabeth Stone, she said, addressing the complaints, quote, this unprecedented scale created many technical issues with the launch team tackled brilliantly by prioritizing stability of the stream for the majority of viewers.
We don't give a fuck about your excuses, Netflix. We know all the tricks of the trade when it comes to this shit. Like with game releases, we know that you scale back, don't get enough servers, whatever the case may be, to pocket more money. We know what the fuck's going on.
Well, it's funny because we've been talking about Netflix and streaming services for over a year now, maybe for the life of the podcast that we've been doing it. And they just constantly raise their prices. They produce shitty content. They don't treat their teams properly. That's what the writer's strike was all about, most of it. And so, like, you can't even put on like a fucking halfway decent broadcast.
Yep.
Well, and their foray into live streaming is relatively new. Like,
I know.
they've been a digital on-demand download stream type service. So
no excuse.
I'm definitely not giving them any excuses. They have the money and the wherewithal to be prepared for something like 100%. This, but they weren't. So they dropped the ball for sure. But
yeah,
this is like real time.
Plenty of billion-dollar companies have tried live streaming and have failed miserably. So
this is a real time
par for the course.
Like display of inflation where the price goes up and the quality either goes down or does not increase
precipitously.
You're increasing the prices. Yeah. Netflix used to be like how much when it first started streaming?
Like
probably
$5.
$5, some shit crazy, right? It's just silly, dude. But they just pocketing all the extra money and then come with us like, hey guys, record-breaking numbers. Like, we don't give a fuck. It was a terrible experience across the board.
Well, my buddy George made a good point the night of. We were like kind of texting back and forth, and he just kind of made the point like, you know, we shit on fucking legacy media all the time, these big networks and shit, but like broadcast is clearly not easy to do, live broadcast. Like it takes a fucking...
For that many people, right?
It takes a lot of work and coordination to run a broadcast live, like, and have it function properly. Thank you, Marvin. For that many people. According to the website Down Detector, nearly 85,000 viewers logged problems with outages or streaming leading up to the fight.
And that's just people that are online enough to know about that shit.
Yeah, right. Now, the thing that's funny is that Netflix, Dusty just kind of alluded to it, they are set to air 2 NFL games on Christmas Day. First at 1 p.m.
Oh my God!
Which is the Kansas City Chiefs, who I believe are currently undefeated, and they
got a loss.
Oh, they did lose, and they're going to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Howard Stern even got in on it, and he said, "quote I don't know how this stuff works, but you got to make sure it works. You fuck up people's football, there's hell
on a holiday, on a day off. Nah,
right. Yeah."
It's bad enough you fucking up the broadcast when people had to stay up to like 1 a.m. to watch this shit.
Right.
I'm an East Coaster now. I had to be up late as fuck watching this bullshit.
Howard Stern was not pleased.
Yeah, this is relatively new too. The NFL getting in on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Is usually The NBA is what you usually had to watch, but the commissioner said, "Why not? Let's get in some Christmas games. Let's take Christmas back." Basically,
that's not even it. Netflix is also going to carry Raw in the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom and Latin America beginning on January 6th, with additional countries to be added as contracts expire. The bigger component, though, is that Netflix is going to carry all of the company's shows overseas, WWE that is, including its premium live events like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Royal Rumble. So
premium means people pay the extra, I'm assuming, even if it's on Netflix.
It's their like big events like WrestleMania and stuff. I think is what
I
wonder if they will be
the Cock right now, right? Peacock.
I'm not too sure actually.
I wonder if those events will be included because they used to be pay-per-view.
They used to be, but I think that's the whole point. You cut a deal with Netflix and then like people have to subscribe. I've seen comments of people that bought Netflix literally to watch the Tyson fight. So that's bizarre.
This is, oh man, I don't know.
Yeah, no, they got a stranglehold on the.
They're trying to get all these subscribers again to like trying to get this influx, and it's gonna bite them. They're not gonna be able to support all of these live events.
Right.
More people are gonna tune in to watch football for sure, I would bet. Compared to boxing, even though it was Mike Tyson, I think, especially on a holiday, it's gonna be the middle of the day.
Yeah,
a lot of people will probably sleep for this Tyson fight.
And honestly, aside from the buffering issues and stuff, the entire broadcast was just an absolute shit show. Like it was pretty just really embarrassing all around. The announcers like barely knew what they were doing. At one point, Holyfield's like mic wasn't working, so the actual broadcasters had to fucking like communicate to the person sitting between them and Holyfield to just answer questions. It was like it was a joke. I don't know. I just thought it was funny to talk about at the top of the show here, because you would hope that with 280 million subscribers that Netflix has, they could have maybe scraped together something that at least tricked people into thinking they gave a shit.
What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
Welcome back, folks, to the Harsh Language Podcast. This is episode number 111. And it's Make Marvin Watch Day, folks. That wonderful time of the month. This week, he's watching Scent of a Woman, chosen by Dusty. Classic. Not really a Thanksgiving film. I was actually...
No, it's holiday adjacent. Yeah.
I was impressed with the pull because it's not one that I would think of, but it was definitely good.
Well, we talked about this before. It's not... It just has to take place during that holiday, which it does.
The Paul Giamatti movie
That was Christmas.
Yeah, but similar.
No, for sure. So that was a good pick. So stick around to hear Marvin's thoughts after his first time watching Scent of a Woman. I thought it was almost my first time watching Scent of a Woman. I forgot that I ever watched that movie in the past, but I have seen it before.
Right.
So how was your guys' weekends?
It was good. I actually watched some stuff.
Nice.
As I said I was going to watch this, and I did watch it.
We both did. I know.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about Silo.
I wasn't talking about Silo, but I did watch Silo.
You go ahead.
I watched,
Sorry, I fucking ruined your mojo.
No.
Shrinking?
No.
It can't be that easy to wipe a memory out of your head. That just can't be. Come on, Marvin.
Agatha.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I watched it all, yeah.
You like it?
Surprisingly, I enjoyed it, yeah.
It was good, right?
It's a good show.
It was really good. So I thought, it starts off with her thinking she's a detective, and I was like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
And even when it switched, I was like, okay, this is still cool. I'm still enjoying this. I think all the songs were good. It wasn't really a musical like I thought it was gonna be or something, but they definitely had some songs in there, and they were all good for sure.
My favorite, I didn't say it, but my favorite episode was the obvious 1980s like horror teen cabin.
I love the costume switches. Yeah. That was so good.
I don't know if you guys remember a few weeks back, I think it was just me and Dusty. I think you were in the middle of the move. But remember I showed the posters, Dusty, the promo posters, and they showed like the one that was like an 80s horror movie. Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad you liked that.
Really good, yeah.
What else did you watch?
Well, we kind of spoiled it already, but Silo dropped.
Did you watch Silo, Dusty?
Yeah, I sure did.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
yeah. I got the notification on my phone on Tracked. Shout out Tracked. They let you know when episodes drop.
That's right. Let's save that.
And I messaged you guys instantly like, oh my God, Silo drop.
Yeah.
I forgot all about it, honestly.
Let's save it for a few minutes. I wanted to get into like a little bit of a discussion about it. What else have you done? Anything else? Shrinking? Any shrinking?
No, I'm just going to wait for it to finish, I think.
Okay.
I watched a couple episodes of, I can't remember anything now.
It's over for you.
Jesus Christ. X-Files. I watched a couple more episodes of X-Files. Yep.
It's funny you mentioned that because just last week, David Duchovny apparently has a podcast because who doesn't these days? But he had Gillian Anderson on. And apparently that conversation they had was a long time coming. I didn't finish listening to the whole thing, but the gist of it is that they apparently, like, they obviously had a very close and sometimes complicated relationship because they spent so much time together and worked together. And their characters, you haven't really seen even the, like, vast majority of it, but they have a lot of feelings to portray in that show, from like, you know, love and romance and lust to just professionalism. Like they run the gamut of like what you could feel for another person. And apparently that took a toll on like their real life relationship, but they never really like got to know each other like on a much deeper level. At one point in the conversation, he's like, you know, we never even like asked each other about what it was like growing up. Like they didn't know each other on that level, but yet they knew each other so well. So it was like a weird dynamic that this conversation seemed like just a cathartic thing that they hadn't done. So I have to finish listening to it, but it was certainly interesting so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. I'm glad you're liking that. How about you, Dusty? What have you been watching?
I got Christina to start watching Only Murders in the Building. We started working on that, but then I knew Silo was coming out, so I made her watch season 1 of that. So rewatched that.
Nice.
And,
all of season 1?
Yeah, rewatched season 1, and then episode 1 of season 2. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, before we get on to Silo, I watched Cobra Kai. Did you watch that, Dusty? I know you're up on that.
I'm not the new one. Would another one just come out, or there's just half the season 6?
Season 6 is coming out in 3 parts. So part 1 was back in July. Part 2 just dropped, and now part 3 is going to come out after the new year.
I haven't watched part 2 now.
It was basically the Saikai Taikai, like the whole event that they were building up to. Yeah, no, that show remains good. I'm kind of bummed out, though, because, like, you know, we talked about it, I think, a week or two ago, the movie that they're doing with Jackie Chan and all that.
Yeah.
Which we read was, like, completely separate from the show. And it's kind of a bummer because, like, they're starting to market the movie, and they got, like, Coldplay doing a song for it that's, like, releasing today or some shit. And, like, I don't know. It just... Cobra Kai is, like, the obvious successor to Karate Kid. Like, it's the one that... It's the legacy. Like, it's about Daniel LaRusso's future and Johnny, and, like, goes into like a lot of stuff about Mr. Miyagi that he didn't know about, despite him being his mentor. And it's like really fucking good. So I don't know why they're choosing to make a movie that doesn't connect in any way. I know we talked about it. It's just like a studio thing of like, yeah, Cobra Kai's popular. Let's make a movie. It's basically like Sony and Marvel with how they choose to make Spider-Man content.
Yeah.
But yeah, the show is good. This final season's shaping up to be pretty cool. So let's get into Silo. Season 2, episode 1 dropped. What'd you guys think?
I really liked the beginning showing that other Silo and the downfall and the entire group escaping. And I mean, heavy spoilers, by the way. I'll just go ahead and say that now.
Yep.
It got a little slow when we just see her trying to cross over this gap for like what felt like 30 minutes. I got a little bit annoyed.
I actually love that.
I did not, but I mean,
okay. Hey,
I don't know. It's just like, okay, again, we just stuck on this forever. But
well, here's the thing, right? I thought about it too. I thought it was a little bit slow at first, and then I kind of like came around to it because it's her character. She's like a fucking headstrong, like she's not going to give up. on something she puts her mind to. It's the whole reason she's in the position she's in the first place. Like she got kicked out because she wasn't going to give up on the guy she loved and all that stuff. But yeah, so this episode sees her go into this other silo, and we get like a brief flashback to like what happened in that silo, and it was essentially like a fucking civil war, kind of. Not really a civil war. Well, I guess it was a civil war.
Civil war, yeah, it's proper.
And like the
uprising, rebellion, whatever.
The people who wanted to go outside or won the war, it seems, and they go outside and they fucking die, and there's just piles of bodies. And she's exploring this silo, and it's like fucking, you know, everything's fucking broken down. It's been generations, it seems like. And while she's exploring, she starts hearing like this sound of like almost like a hammering, and it's across this gap in one of the floors. So she has to, as Marvin said, try to get across it. And it's just, I think it's just a way to show her like ingenuity and like her ability to like not give up on a thing. And she, at one point, she falls down the silo, and you think like, oh my God, is she going to die in this first episode? But no, she falls into water because half the silo is flooded.
Mm-hmm.
And we know she's terrified of water. So the reason I came around to that is because I think it was a big character building moment for her, because like she just unlocked like a new ability almost. Like her fear of water.
Swimming.
Her fear of water is what prevented her in the first season from like getting down into that secret area and really exploring the other door and all that other shit. So now she has that fear, like she's in water. Okay, I have nothing to be scared of. So I came around to it a little bit.
Yeah, I got that a little bit too. I don't know. When I saw that scene, I was like, "What? Okay, she's gonna engineer a bridge." Yeah. And she does the one that breaks, and I'm like, and then she does one that's right. I'm like, why didn't she just do that the first time? She's this badass engineer. Like, that's kind of what I took away from that. But I do get like she fell in the water and she had to go through that arc to realize it's not as scary as it seems, and blah blah blah.
But
she should have engineered the bridge right the first fucking time. Is what my gripe is about that.
That's fair. Thing. That's a dusty gripe, but it's all right.
Yeah.
So she finally gets across, and it turns out that the sound she heard was like a fan, and with like a little like metal trinket like smacking on it as the fans oscillated. And nobody's there seemingly. And all of a sudden, some music starts playing, a banger song, by the way, an oldie. Marvin, you gotta shift yourself a little bit.
Which way?
I don't know. That way.
Towards the cat tree or
away from the cat tree?
Oh,
sorry. You were drifting a little. No, keep going. You didn't do nothing.
What?
Nope.
More?
You're like not even moving.
I am.
Yeah, he is.
Really?
I'm about to be off the freaking camera, off the screen.
Shit. Hang on, I'll just adjust you on my end then. Give me a second. Sorry. I'm about to be off the screen.
Literally, look at it in video. I'm like,
I see.
Clearly off-centered in video.
It's because every time you get off-centered in real life, I have to like make up for it in OBS.
I know it's because
there you go. Yeah. So she starts hearing some music, which is like a banger song, and I don't even remember what it was, but it's like the original version of that song. It's a great song.
Mm-hmm.
Do either of you recall what it was?
Fuck. I don't.
Man,
no.
Such a good song. And she gets confronted by some fucking set of eyes through like this slit in like this huge fucking like blast door almost. Now, is that this silo's version of like the mayor's office is what I took from it?
Yeah,
right.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's this guy in there and he's like, hey, what you doing out there? He says some like weird shit. And then he's like, if you try to get in here again, I'll kill you. And then the episode ends.
Crazy.
So who do we think this guy is?
I don't know.
We don't have a lot of information to go off of.
The one thing I want to say about this guy, who is the actor for? Do we know who the actor is? Because his eyes looked very familiar to me.
He sounded a little familiar, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you from that.
I thought you guys might have recognized it.
Okay. No, I didn't read the credits. He might not even be in the credits, honestly, yet. But
I was like, dude, I know this guy, but I'm not sure who he would be. I mean, anybody could have stayed back. Like, y'all going outside and there's like maybe like a wacko guy that's like, well, I don't really trust the outside.
So in the flashback, that section of the silo that she was trying to get to was the one that was being attacked by the rebels.
That's right.
They were like holding down that one area, it looked like. So I don't know if because we don't know how long it's been since that rebellion happened. I would assume a long time since everything is skeletons and all this shit. So either it's one of the original people who were left over from the rebellion just trapped in that area or decided to stay in that area for the rest of his life. Yeah. Or maybe it's like a lineage of that group. Who knows? I don't know what we're going to see, but it was interesting. It was a good episode, though. I thought it was a good setup for what's coming in the show. Do you guys have any thoughts or theories on what we're going to see? Because the trailer wasn't really that revealing, other than that we might see a rebellion in the main silo that the show took place in season 1.
Yeah. Hail Mary, I would say she's going to somehow try to go back and help them or try to lead that rebellion that happens in the main silo.
Well, I think it's going to be
something like that.
Yeah.
She'll show up and be on the camera or something, and they'll see that she's still alive, and people will want to go out and figure out what the hell's going on.
Now, I think it's going to be more of a she's going to learn her silo might go down the same path as this silo did. History's going to repeat itself.
If they do rebel, it will be the same. Yeah.
It's cool how this show is telling a macro story and a micro story. The micro story being her and the main silo that we know of. The macro being there's fucking hundreds of other silos and what actually happened in the world and who created the silos, because we see clearly it's all the same technology. They have the same, they're all built the same. They're carbon copies of one another, the same cameras. Yep. They're spying on each other the same way. So I'm really curious about to see what the overall thing is. And I know there's books about it, so I'm trying not to really get spoiled, because I want it to be a cool reveal within the show.
Yeah. This weekly shit, man, is so annoying.
Oh God, it's rough. I know. It's tough, but we got to deal with it. I almost didn't watch it, and then I was like, I'll watch it for the podcast because we're probably going to talk about it.
Oh yeah, I was watching it.
Yeah, I'll watch it. And then 100%. We got now I wonder, I guess they're going to wrap it up before Severance starts. I don't think they would want to air 2 shows at the same time.
Oh yeah. I mean, how many episodes was the first season of Silo? Was it 10 or 8?
I think it was 10.
10.
Yeah.
So 10 weeks. I mean, isn't Silo Severance the first? Or no,
I think it's February something or other.
It's February something. Okay, so no, yeah, it would be in time.
Let's see. Season 2, January 17th. Okay, so not as long.
It would still be in time, I think. Let me see.
Yeah, I think so.
I think, yeah.
But yeah, so great first episode. Good start. We all dig it.
Oh yeah, super excited for this.
Yeah. Did you guys watch this week's Yellowstone yet or no?
Oh God, yes. I'm coming in hot about Yellowstone.
I didn't even watch it. You guys could get into it if you want.
You didn't even watch it. You should. Yeah. You want us to talk about it, or you want us to? What you want to do?
Dusty
I want a hot take. No, if you get a hot take, I'm all here for it. But yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, hit us.
Okay, it's not really any spoilers, honestly. So the writers really screwed themselves with the progression of this show, because now I can't even appreciate the little things anymore. I got no patience for it.
Oh, fuck.
I don't care about them struggling with rattlesnakes and Beth getting stopped by cops saying cheesy ass shit, thanking cowboys for their service, weird shit.
That's crazy.
Or Beth taking Rip away from work for the 7th fucking time. That was enough for me in the beginning of the show.
Fucking a barn.
Yeah, until they started to introduce the crazy ass action. So now that's what I expect when I turn on this show, especially we're 5 seasons in at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They've built it up by increasing the stakes each season. We talked about this with long shows, how you got to outdo the last season and this and that. But with this show, you can't give us the filler shit anymore. I simply do not care.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why we were sort of all 3 of us in agreement that's why last season sort of failed in our eyes, because it was all that filler shit. Like half the season was them. What'd they do? They had to like take the cattle for like the winter or whatever.
Yeah, that's
like
what they're doing now in Texas.
Like John went camping, but what? No, wasn't last season where like John goes camping with like Casey and
they
like the kid.
They had the governor's ball at the ranch. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. And like,
I mean, it's sad because at one point I remember saying it on this show, I could watch this forever, but now they ruined it.
Yeah, no.
And we waited 2 years for this shit.
No, I feel exactly the same way. And like, what happened to like, so like John is obviously written out, spoilers. Is his girlfriend going to make an appearance? The fucking one who was like, the more I think about this show, Maluk was right. Shout out to Maluk. He makes fun of us mercilessly for liking this show. And I'm starting to think that he's right. He is right because some of he's not right. No. Some of the concepts in this show are corny as fuck. Like you just said, Beth thanking cowboys for their service, like they're fucking military people. Like
that shit is hilarious.
Like I get the shtick that the show is like, this is a way of life that's like dying, but like get over yourself already. Because I'm thinking
dialogue has gotten so cheesy.
That chick's whole character, John's girlfriend, the one who was the environmentalist, the one who was like the protester and shit. The whole purpose of her character is like taking this person who's like a city girl and a protester and an environmentalist and like a vegan and all this stuff, and like converting her into like, see, this is a good way of life, like slaughtering cattle and eating meat after all.
Try some of this beef. Yeah, it's delicious.
Like that is fucking cheesy and bad writing. I'm sorry. It's not good. And then she has like that big fist fight with Beth that was like ridiculous.
God.
Nah, you're right, Marvin.
This show is the perfect example of a show going too long. I mean, this family has done it all. So now bring on the aliens or something because you successfully fucked up the soap opera feel of the show where we're just watching them do cowboy shit and it's pretty mild or whatever. I mean, they started doing that even in the first season, but
yeah.
I mean, what's next? What's next here?
They're going to go to space. The Duttons in space. What happened in this episode? Give us a little bit of a breakdown real quick.
It was a bunch of nothing. I mean, so
really?
I'll just, so the girlfriend chick does show up.
Oh, she does. Okay. The environmentalist.
Beth kicks her out.
Of course, naturally, yeah.
She's gone instantly. Who gives a fuck?
Right.
Beth show. So, and then they do this time skips and it's like all over the place. So the first part of the show is the past and then it jumps to the future again. Beth confronts Jamie. He doesn't deny that he was the one that did the assassination attempt or called for the assassination attempt.
Right.
And that's pretty much it.
Interesting. That's it. That's
pretty much
episode. Okay.
It's like Dallas right now. It's who killed JR.
They were struggling with snakes and shit. That's what I was saying. Like, I don't give a fuck about this anymore. No, literally, like, it was 10 minutes of them like, oh, man, we got to move the tents, man. We're on a snake den. I'm like, I don't care about this anymore. Wrap this shit up.
That's fucked up.
Wrap it up, B.
Wrap it up.
You can't give us crack and then try to make us content with fucking hand-rolled cigarettes. Like, you can't. You give us too much. We don't care about the filler anymore. You fucked it up.
Well, that was our complaint last week. And like, where's this show going to go? Because that's really what happened. Like,
yeah,
they just got to a point where it's like, where are we going? You've given us too much crazy shit. First, it's like a real estate thing. Then it's like a real estate thing with Native Americans. Then it's a real estate thing with like a mogul. Now it's a real estate thing with the mogul's boss. It's like the mogul's fucking lobbyist now. And now it's like, what? Like, just where are we going? Yep. Like, and again, I'll be honest. I didn't even know where last season it was like a little bit much. It's like, okay, so now he's running for governor so he could transform it's just too much.
It's too much.
When,
really
like,
is.
honestly, the best part of the show was always, like, the drama bits about it. It was
That's
really
what I'm saying.
never, like, the actual action stuff.
That's exactly right.
And it's like, again, a big criticism was, like, they feed you action, but never pay it off. So it's like, why are you even giving us action? To just go back to drama. It doesn't make any sense. Like, when the whole family is attacked in, like, a very coordinated strike, I want the Navy SEAL character in the show to fucking retaliate, not camp with wolves and go on a spirit quest. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
And like, you know, you're not challenging your audience to not do that. It's just not good. You're not really, I don't know.
And we talked about this, like, our big villain this season is fucking Jamie. Nobody cares about Jamie. Sorry.
No, he's a bitch.
We don't give a fuck about Jamie. You've already given us the entire plot in the first episode, basically. We know that he was killed. We know that it was a setup. What are they going to do for, 8 more episodes? Or what is happening here? I don't understand this.
That's another thing, too. Is like, do you actually expect us, the audience, to believe that John Dutton killed himself? There's no way that you expect us to believe that. So right away, there's no like real stakes because it's like so clearly not what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they straight up show you that that's not what happened. And they show the lady going to the assassination agency. No, that was in the first episode.
The assassination agency.
Literally. You don't remember that? That was the first episode.
No, I never finished
His girlfriend. Remember? Oh, that's right. His girlfriend goes to the assassination department, whatever the fuck.
My head is so itchy.
And then, she's like, oh, you got to put your phone up. We got to do all this, do this.
That's hilarious.
It's like, I don't understand where we're going to go with the rest. We already know everything. And we don't care about Jamie. Or at least I don't. Sorry.
I don't. I mean, I don't. I haven't cared about him. They should have fucking thrown him at the train station fucking seasons ago.
Right.
He's just not a fucking interesting character.
He's not. And like I said, the shit that he did as a kid,
it's not that big of a deal.
That bad. Like, no. I don't think he intentionally took her to a sterilization clinic. I think he was just trying to get her an abortion, and it
it's
just
not that
so
she was
happened.
Sterilized. It was just that because they had to go to a
religious.
No,
it was on the res.
It was on the res.
Yeah,
and obviously they're not trained as well because they're not like they don't get good quality treatment from the U.S. government. That's like that was the whole like point.
I thought they did it intentionally. I thought that was
no. There was what. They went to the res to keep it a secret. But because they went to the res, she just got a lower quality of care. And then thus they botched the abortion, rendering her infertile.
I thought it was the clinic just does it intentionally because it is on the res. And there's it was like a religious clinic. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'm misremembering. I didn't know that.
Well, it was uncommon for them to do that against native tribes back in the day, just sterilize all the women when they come in to get that stuff done. So.
Yeah, but wasn't it a native clinic?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
One of us is misremembering. I don't know if it's me or you.
Either way, I don't think,
no, it wasn't on purpose, regardless.
If it happened by accident or on purpose,
regardless,
Jamie didn't intentionally.
No.
Because I'm pretty sure in the scene they tell Jamie what's gonna happen, and he takes a minute to think about it.
I think you're right.
I see. Okay, so that's where
I think you're right. Yes, but I always assumed it was because of the quality of care. Like this might fuck her up. I don't know. Whatever. Regardless, Marvin's right. He didn't do it like purposefully. Yes, he did a fucked up thing, but he was trying to help her, and didn't do. They're fucking kids. We're like 40 years old now. Like, get over it.
Right. Jesus.
He tried to make amends, and like, you're just not letting him. I think Beth is the villain of the show, honestly. But nobody's going to agree with me. And the show doesn't even agree with me because she's not written that way.
At all. She's like the defender, the last defender of the fucking...
but like, her fucking shtick wore out a long time ago. Even with Rip. Rip is like, fucking God. Give it a rest now. We're naked. We're married. Just get naked. Let's have fun.
Dude. And Rip didn't even Rip was the one that cares about, you would think he cares about John the most, really, from what we've seen. And he's not even really, he wasn't even that fucked up when he died.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man.
We'll see. And also the Quad 6 completely don't care about any of that.
Oh my God, the branding, they got to stop. They can't keep doing this. They showed Quad 6 vodka in the episode.
No.
Yes.
That's because
they're trying to sell all that shit.
That's because he bought it. Yeah, he's trying to fucking rack in that money.
Yeah, well.
All right. Well, listen, maybe Taylor Sheridan fell off. I don't know. It's possible.
Nah, just let your shows in, bro. 1883.
You know,
one of my favorites.
That's a great point because
that's what I'm saying.
I remembered last week when I was editing the video that I didn't watch the second one, the one with Harrison Ford, 1920.
I didn't.
Whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Which I had heard was good. So I put it on my list because I do want to go back and watch it. Like, what happened? Because the show Yellowstone, right, was all about like preserving our way of life, preserving this land. That was the undertone, like very conservative, let's face it, undertones. But like me as like a progressive, just for instance, I know politics has nothing to do with it, but I'm just trying to simply make a point. Me as a progressive, don't give a fuck about any of this. And I don't, and like, I'm also from fucking New York. Like, I don't care. I've lived 20 minutes away from Manhattan. Like, this is completely not anything that has anything relevant to me. But as I've watched the show, I grew an appreciation for it because, as we've discussed on the show, these people, farmers, people who deal with cattle and this type of stuff, they are integral cogs in the wheel of our country functioning, right?
Yep.
Or at least were at one point. And they are largely mistreated. Like when people talk about the working class when it comes to politics, like they're part of that, right? So I began to enjoy the show. And the reason I said the conservative undertones, it's not like conservative, like political undertones. It's like more like what conservatism technically means is like this way of life, like nature and like appreciating the land and like all that stuff. Anyhow.
Yep.
Then the show really started to like, as Taylor Sheridan has done in a lot of his works, shine light on issues regarding like Native Americans and how they're treated in this country and by the U.S. government. And I was like, oh, okay, like this show is like I like where this show's going. When they did the spin-offs, 1883 specifically, it's like, oh, their whole thing about like wanting to preserve their land, it's not about greed or any of that. It's about the fact that he made a promise, Dutton's ancestor made a promise to the natives of the area to fucking preserve this area because what's her name died there and was buried there. Mm-hmm. I forget the character in that season, the chick with the blonde hair.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, that's going to be great to explore now in the present day. But they like completely just ditched that as far as I could tell. Like I thought that was the whole thing of like, you know, this is our land. It's our family's land. But like, why though? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it has to have more substance to it than just like cowboys are dying. You know what I'm saying? Like that South Park ass fucking dialogue. And I thought the native angle was that of like, oh no, we like our family made like a pact with like the natives of the area like many, many, many generations ago. And like, we're going to fucking stay true to that because we respect them. Like, that should.
Well, I mean, they're still showing them or trying to protect the land at least,
why?
But it starts to become corrupt when you're protecting it from corrupt people, you gotta.
But I guess what I'm saying is like
use other methods.
I guess what I'm saying is Yellowstone in current day has never addressed what we've already watched now in the past.
Yeah, right.
They've never met yet. I thought they were going to after 1883, 1927, or whatever the fuck the year is in the second season of that. The second spinoff with Harrison Ford. I thought now the two would meet and like Yellowstone would catch up with the past and we would understand like, that's why. Like confirmed. I'm just guessing, but I thought that was going to be the angle because of Taylor Sheridan's past. Like a lot of his fucking movies and stuff deals with like the treatment of Native Americans in like in the United States. So I don't know, whatever. Okay. Well, that's 2 episodes down and we don't seem super excited about it. Leave a comment, folks. If you're watching Yellowstone, let us know what you think. Any theories that you might have or how you're feeling about this second half of a season 2 years after its air date, leave a comment, let us know. But yeah, so that pretty much catches us up on what we've watched. I didn't really watch too much else this week. Just like I said, Cobra Kai. And that was about it. I guess let's get into the news, Dusty. How we doing this week? Anything good going on?
There's a couple of things.
Okay.
We got our Fantastic Four First Step synopsis, the official synopsis from Marvel. I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't think we talked about it.
No.
Set against the vibrant backdrop of a 1960s inspired retro futuristic world, the Fantastic Four First Steps introduces Marvel's first family Okay, and to go through Lace Mall, forced to balance their roles as heroes with strength of their family bond, they must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus and his
Enigmatic.
enigmatic herald, Silver Surfer. And if Galactus plans to devour the entire planet and everyone on it weren't bad enough, it suddenly gets very personal. This has a July 25th, 2025 release date. But yeah,
Damn.
confirms that Julia Garner is the Silver Surfer. How do you feel about that, Dan?
Oh, shit.
Well, I know a lot of people aren't happy about it, but I don't know. I guess I'm just going to, I really honestly am just withholding any opinion because I don't even understand what this movie is or what it wants to be. And quite frankly, right now, my early impressions are not that great.
Hashtag Nora Rad, baby. I coined that months ago. So any of you motherfuckers try to steal my shit, I'm sending a cease and desist.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, listen, I don't know. That synopsis means nothing to me. Like, it doesn't mean anything. I thought that, like, initially the show was going to take place at, like, in another universe. But then
that's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Well, it was supposed to be. I always thought it was going to be them in another universe and then coming into 616 universe, the sacred timeline. But then Kevin Feige said some shit last week
at D23
at D23 Brazil about, like, it's not just about them coming to this universe. It's about them, like, having something. He said something along the lines that made me think, like, maybe they were always here. Which, again, I don't know how you handle that. That was always going to be the problem with introducing, like, the X-Men or the Fantastic Four. Like, hey, everyone who's watched 40 movies over the course of 10 years, here's this powerful group that you've never heard of before. So they can't do that. Second concern, Galactus is one of the greatest Marvel villains there is. Don't understand how he's just out the gate fucking, yep, Galactus is going to eat the Earth.
They're skipping steps, Dan. That's what it is.
That's what
we
it
talk
feels
about
like.
it all the time.
It's what it feels like, honestly. It feels like how they dealt with
billions.
Like,
they want it.
This feels like that Galactus is going to be treated as just like a run-of-the-mill villain who's a one-off. And that is not the way you handle Galactus, in my opinion. Yeah. And that'll be very disappointing. As far as the original question, Julia Garner playing Silver Surfer, I don't necessarily care if it's from another universe. That's fine. It's a fucking Silver Surfer variant. There is precedent for it in the comic books where Norin Rad's wife Shala Bal was the Silver Surfer. So if maybe they're doing something like that, I don't necessarily care. I would hope that we would get Norin Rad in the main MCU when it gets to that point, but I guess that remains to be seen. I'm not judging this until it comes out, though, but right now I'm a little bit worried. And then the final thing, which I've talked about before, is, like, they cast Reed Richards. Almost just felt like, I've said this before, just like a safety cast of, like, he was the hot fucking thing at the time. Pedro, yeah. Like, he...
Oh, yeah, that's just, yeah.
Because he's going through, like, a career, like a high in his career. He's fucking and everything. And it just feels like they were like, yeah, get this guy. He's famous as fuck. And, like, he's old. Like, how long is he going to be doing this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then
I guarantee he doesn't want to do it for more than a decade, if that.
Yeah. I mean, how old is he? Pedro Pascal. Let's see. We've talked about it before, but
50?
He's 49. It's like, I don't know. I'm still, again, struggling to see their plans for the future of the MCU. And, like, in the early days of the MCU, you always saw the plan. Like, you saw where we're eventually going to get to Endgame. We didn't know it was called Endgame, obviously, at the time. It's like, but we know we're leading up to a fucking epic brawl with Thanos, where he's going to get his hands on the Infinity Stones and he's going to wipe out half the fucking universe. Or the universe, whatever he did in the comic books. But I'm really just struggling to see the vision here. So I don't know. I'm a little bit worried. What about you, Dusty? You're a comic book fan too.
I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna build up the Young Avengers and then blink them into like an Earth 619, where the
They're definitely
shit.
X-Men, where the
Rey
X-Men
Mysterio?
and the Avengers and everybody else has always been around and is still around, so that you'll get your Tony Starks and your Scarlet Witches. And
Oh yeah, you're still holding out for that reboot.
yeah, it's gonna happen.
We'll see.
Listen, I just hope Julia Garner has the Ozark accent. I think that would be fucking amazing.
Just fucking bayou ass fucking Silver Surfer.
Yeah. Well, you know, Silver Surfer's from a different planet, right?
It is,
and Julia Garner, as far as her looks, she could pull off like an androgynous look. Maybe it's like a maybe it's not like a him or her. It could be a they or whatever.
That's what I
originally or some shit.
Well, I had originally said that because Silver Surfer in the like, yes, it's Norrin Rad, but like he's a silver being. It's like not it's not directly clear if it's like male or female. Like, yes, he's a male person, but like Norrin Rad no longer exists. I mean, there's so much depth to the character that yes, he does, but like you could have an androgynous person play him. They did already in Doug Jones in the original Fantastic Four movie, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Doug Jones is like, he's like a bony fucking androgynous looking dude. Like you could have a female play the Surfer and still be Norrin Rad. I don't think there would be anything wrong with that. Like if the physical appearance was a little bit more androgynous, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's just going to be like,
you think so?
Yeah. I think it's going to be a little woke. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
I put a link in the chat too when we get a chance.
Oh yeah. I got this.
I was just going to say this upcoming summer is going to be fucking awesome because that comes out July and then this comes out August. So we got 2 good ones coming back to back at least.
Yep. Marvin talking about Nobody 2. Yes. Bob Odenkirk back at it in full throttle. Nobody was a good movie.
And also nobody was expecting this sequel, I don't think, or at least I wasn't. So
well,
I don't know how I feel about this, but I'm probably going to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it. I liked the first one quite a bit. I mean,
I liked the first one a lot. I just thought
good.
It left off at a good spot.
Yeah, no, I mean, but like, listen, you got new John Wick shit. Come on. Ain't nobody gonna get rid of that opportunity.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got for us, Dusty?
We got James Gunn using one of your favorite phrases, I think.
Really?
When discussing lanterns.
Yeah.
He was talking about this to IGN, I believe. This is what he had to say. The truth is, Chris Mundy and Tom King and Damon Lindelof wrote an amazing series, like an incredible series. I'm so excited for people to see this. It's very grounded, very believable, and very real.
Love that.
The kind of things that you would never think that would be the truth about a Green Lanterns television series, and very human, adult, and wonderful. And the story that they wrote fit a couple of actors who were of these ages, and so that's who they cast. Those were the choices. I totally backed them up, and I love them.
Oh, so adult. That's giving me some Snyder vibes. Mm-hmm. Very adult.
You know, I'm starting to. I'm not trying to say I don't have faith in James Gunn, and I'm not trying to say that like, but similarly to what I was just talking about the MCU, I'm just not seeing the vision, honestly, yet. It does feel to be a little bit all over the place, and I'm going to piggyback off of that because I pulled a little bit of a piece about Mr. James Gunn myself. And that is him saying, I think it was in the same interview, he says that almost all of Peacemaker is canon except for the ending. Now, you guys didn't watch Peacemaker and might never, so I'm just going to spoil it. It's not that big of a spoiler. The entire season of Peacemaker is them dealing with this like alien invasion. Like this alien group. It's like this group of aliens is like trying to like solidify their like place among human beings on Earth. And there's like a rebellion within the alien group. So there's like good aliens, bad aliens. Peacemaker and his team get involved in that. And at the very end.
So a secret invasion.
Pretty much, but like a little bit different. And at the end, they go through all this shit, this potentially like world ending fucking catastrophe. And as they're walking out of the rubble of like the final fight and all this stuff, the Justice League shows up. And it's like you see it's like a big epic moment, and you in James Gunn funny fashion, you see their like silhouettes, and you don't see Henry Cavill, it's just a Superman silhouette like hovering in the air. It's Batman's not even there, I don't think. and I think Wonder Woman's silhouette. But you do see they got what's his name, the actor of the Flash and Aquaman, and they kind of like talk to each other, and like there's like a joke throughout the series about like Aquaman fucking fish. That's like the whole in real life Aquaman joke. And so Peacemaker's like, thanks for showing up, you fucking assholes. Like you showed up late. And so that's the ending that's they're talking about, is that the DC EU Justice League shows up. And now all of a sudden James Gunn is like, yeah, no, my whole show's canon, but except for that, and we're going to handle it in season 2. And I'm kind of just like, okay, I get it's your creation.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But he's being a little picky choosy as to like what's canon and what's not. And I'm not seeing the vision, honestly. Like,
is that even allowed? You could just,
you can do whatever he wants.
I mean, you could do, it's just crazy to think that you could pick and choose what's canon in one series.
Here, this is kind of a picture of like the ending there. Like you see like Wonder Woman's silhouette.
Oh, right.
And then Superman is like off to the side floating.
Okay.
But then these two, the Ezra Miller and whatever the fuck his name is, like they were actually there and they did like a little dialogue. But so it's just like, all right.
This is wild. Like,
I don't mind that you want to. I liked Peacemaker. I don't care that it's canon. Again, just overall, I'm not necessarily seeing the vision for the DCU yet. Like, I don't know where we're going. I'm sure Superman is going to set a lot of it up, but as of right now, I'm, reserving my judgment.
Interesting to see what he does. He's got a whole world to build.
I do have other Marvel news. Do you have any other Marvel news, Dusty, or can I jump off real quick?
Well, we got the Denzel news, and other than that, no, go ahead.
Okay, well, I just wanted to, because we were talking about comic book stuff, but I did find it interesting here. We were talking about streamers earlier. Deadpool and Wolverine debuted on Disney Plus with 19.4 million views in its first 6 days of streaming. And Disney Plus has not seen traction like that, apparently, since Black Panther Wakanda Forever came out, which was back in February of last year, 2023. So grossed 1.3 billion at the worldwide box office, and
stuck at number 2. Cannot pass Inside Out 2.
Right,
the Pixar movie.
And now we've got 19.4 million views globally in its first 6 days. So,
it's good stuff.
I just feel like that's like a thing of like, people will watch your shit if it's good. If you build it, he will come type of thing. So I don't know, give the people what they want and you'll make your money. All right. What else you got, Dusty?
Shout out to James Earl Jones.
You speak up a little.
We got
go ahead.
Matt Reeves shared an update on The Batman. He was talking with, I think this is Digital Spy, about why he was absent from the Penguin and what's going on. But he had to say Bruce Wayne will be finding it very hard to be Batman in the Batman sequel.
God.
So, he I guess mulling over whether or not to hang up the cape. It's a Batman trope, I guess.
Let you in on a little bit of my personal life, little inside joke between me and Ed. Shout out to Ed.
Shout out.
Ed and I have been watching Superman and Lois every week, as I've mentioned. I forgot to say I watched this week's episode of Superman and Lois, which I'll talk about in a second. But Dusty and Ed and I have this inside joke between the two of us, going back to when Daredevil was on the air on Netflix. And in Daredevil, Daredevil's his friend, Matt Murdock's best friend and sidekick, not superhero sidekick, law team sidekick, Foggy Nelson. Throughout the course of every season of Daredevil, Foggy Nelson is a whiny little bitch. And the entire show is basically him being like, Matt, I don't want you to go out and get hurt. You're going to die, Matt. Blah, blah, blah. Like, he's just whiny. And so Ed and I always used to laugh. We're like, yo, bro, your friend is a fucking superhero. Like, chill the fuck out. Like, I would be elated to find out my friend was a superhero. So Ed and I have coined the phrase, he's being a foggy. Like, when somebody's being a little bitch, we say he's being foggy. And now that joke has now evolved a little bit to just saying the fog is rolling in, like an actual fog. So in Superman and Lois, whenever somebody's being a bitch, we're like, uh-oh, the fog's rolling in. So the reason I brought all that up is because, like, with this Batman shit, like, why do we got to do this foggy ass bullshit? Like, why does every fucking story about a hero have to be the reluctant hero? I'm so fucking sick of it. Like, just be Batman and be cool. Like, enough.
Yeah.
Fuck. We've dealt with it already. Like, enough. Anyhow, I'm sorry. I got a little upset there.
Yeah, no, it's all right. So when in regards to why he wasn't there in the Penguin story, he says, this was a time of great turmoil in the city. It's literally the week after what happened. Much of the city is in desperation, so police can't get everywhere. There's crime everywhere. It's a very, very dangerous time. Yeah. And Batman's out there trying to grapple with the aftermath of everything that happened, which to some degree he blames himself for.
Uh-huh.
So yeah,
we'll get comments like it's a young Batman.
Yeah,
fuck out of here.
Self-internalizing Batman, coming to grips with whether or not he should be Batman.
Yeah, just like we got to see Superman coming to grips with whether or not he should be Superman.
Yeah.
Think about this, Dusty. I'll never get over this. On my deathbed, I will laugh at this. Is we got a Superman thanks to Hack Snyder that sat with his father about saving a bus full of kids, saying, what was I supposed to do? Let him die. And Jonathan Kent, the guiding light for him as a child, says, maybe. Just sit with that. Okay? I'm sick of all this fucking shit about heroes grappling with the fact that they're heroes. Because everybody seems to forget that famous line, with great power comes great responsibility. Every one of these motherfuckers deals with shit, but they know what they got to do at the end of the day, because that is the hero's journey, Marvin. You hear me?
I hear you.
Thank you.
I hear you. Yeah. Loud and clear.
I'm sick of talking about it.
And do you guys hear us? I mean, I think you should maybe hit the sub button. If you just let us know that you're hearing us. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, what a terrific call to action, Marvin. That was great. Yeah, hit that sub button. Leave a like on the video if you're enjoying it. And yes, Dusty is right. Subscribing is free and helps us out tremendously. So consider doing that if you have not done so. What other news you got for us, Dusty?
So we mentioned Denzel. We might as well talk about it. He actually shared this himself. He broke the news. He has a role in the unannounced Black Panther 3 sequel. He was on the Today Show with Australia's Today Show, I guess. He basically lays out the rest of his career. Said, I played Othello at 22. I'm playing Othello at 70. After that, I'm playing Hannibal. After that, I've been talking with Steve McQueen about a film. After that, Ryan Coogler is writing a part for me in the next Black Panther. And then after that, I'm going to do the film Othello. And after that, I'm going to do King Lear. And after that, I'm going to retire.
Okay.
Damn. I didn't know he was 70, dude. He looks good for 70.
Yeah. He's been doing it for a while.
Ain't nobody going to retire.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. He might.
They say that. They say that.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting interview.
Nice. Is anybody excited for that movie? I don't think I am. I don't know.
For Black Panther 3?
No, for Gladiator 2.
I want to see it. I do want to see it.
If any movie never needed a sequel, it's Gladiator. Like, give me a fucking break.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like very hesitant to like it.
I will say, to be fair,
I think Denzel's gonna nail the role, whatever role he is, but I still think the movie itself overall is gonna be mid. But
I've actually heard he's really good in it.
Yeah. So it's Denzel. He's never played a bad role.
No, he hasn't. But that doesn't mean it's not about his role. I'm saying, well, yeah, I guess it is about his role. I just said I read he's good in it. Yeah, he's supposedly pretty good. One other thing I just wanted to double back on, because I forgot to mention it with Peacemaker, is that we did get an announcement too that it will release August 2025.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
Summer's packed, baby.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got for us?
All right, well, we talked a little bit about how the Star Wars movie was pulled. They pulled the December 2026 Star Wars movie. We would think it was going to be the Rey movie. It actually got slotted by another movie already, Ice Age 6.
Ah, yes.
I don't know if you guys saw
there's
the teaser
6 of those?
posted.
Oh, there's 6, Marvin.
Yeah,
oh my
what's
God.
funny, Marvin, is there's 6 of them, and we haven't had one in a decade.
What?
Yeah.
2016 was the last time we got an Ice Age movie.
Dude.
So by the time Ice Age 6 comes out, it will have been a decade since we had one.
Time flies when there's a pandemic.
I remember Ice Age 1 and 2.
Yeah.
None of the rest of them.
I never seen
This is like, we're not getting into Land Before Time territory, but we're getting close with the Ice Age because there's like 26 of those fucking films.
Right.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, Ice Age 6. All the cast is returning. So, yeah,
Nice.
it's a classic fun one. Take the kids to, or go see it. But anywho.
Hey, speaking of franchise films.
Yeah.
We covered this, Dan.
Did we?
Yeah, last week.
That he was going to be a protagonist?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't remember that. All right, my bad. Go ahead. I was going to mention the new Predator movie that he's a protagonist.
Hey, say it again. I'm hyped for that shit.
Predator's going to be a protagonist instead of a
antagonist?
A protagonist instead of an antagonist. So I don't know what that's all about, but sure. I did watch this week's episode of Superman and Lois, and I just want to say, this is the best, without question, on-screen Superman we've ever gotten. Superman and Lois. This is the final season, for those of you that don't know, and my God, is it good. Okay, the writers on this show, the actors, everybody included, have teamed up to just give us far and away the greatest on-screen version of Superman we've ever gotten. I know that the Christopher Reeve Superman from Richard Donner was fantastic. For many people, myself included, he is the definitive Superman. He will always be the definitive Superman because of just nostalgia purposes. But let me tell you something. The second best Superman, the best, to be honest, but the second best Superman with nostalgia bias aside is Tyler Hoechlin. He's unbelievable. He's fantastic. He knows the role. He knows like the scale of the character that he's playing and how much that character means to humanity in real life and in the story. It's just so good. It's so good. And this season has been dealing with something that they've never done, as far as I know, in comic books or in any other media before. And it's great. And every episode I cry, and every episode I'm like, wow, this is the best Superman we've ever gotten. So if you're not watching Superman and Lois, Dusty, get on that shit because it's unbelievable.
Damn.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right. The last piece of news I have, well, since we're talking about artist picks and whatnot, Philip Seymour Hoffman, he was a top pick by The Office casting director Allison Jones and many others to play Michael Scott in The Office.
Really?
There's a long list of people.
That's actually interesting.
Philip Seymour Hoffman was top of the list. Paul Giamatti was up there. Bob Odenkirk, Patton Oswalt were also up there, but Steve Carell obviously got it and nailed it. But I thought that was an interesting piece of news.
The only one I could see would be Paul Giamatti, I think.
They're all very funny.
Those,
Oh, Philip Seymour Hoffman would have nailed that role.
It would have been different no matter who got it because every one of them would have put their own very special like spin on it. But I could not picture anybody else playing Michael because he's so iconic at this point. But it's so iconically Steve Carell. They're all very funny actors, but it would just have been a totally different character outside of Steve Carell's hands. You know?
Yep.
All right.
All right. Well, that's all the news I have this week.
All right. Thank you, Dusty, for the news. And of course, another great segue because Philip Seymour Hoffman is in the movie we're here to talk about today. That's right, folks. It is Make Marvin Watch Day. Dusty has this month's pick, and he picked Scent of a Woman because it's Thanksgiving setting, and Thanksgiving is 2 weeks away. What makes a performance truly unforgettable, Marvin? Well, in Scent of a Woman, Al Pacino doesn't just act. He dominates the screen as the blind, brash, and complex Lieutenant Colonel Frank Slade. Pacino's raw intensity, biting humor, and moments of heartbreaking vulnerability earned him his first and only Oscar, which is shocking. But what makes this portrayal stand out in a career of iconic roles? Let's explore that as we discuss Marvin's first time watching Scent of a Woman. So briefly, Scent of a Woman follows Charlie Sims, who's a prep school student on scholarship. He's played by Chris O'Donnell, Robin, Marvin's Robin. We were just talking about what my Superman is. That's Marvin's Robin.
That's right. Look at that smile.
Charlie Sims is a prep school student on scholarship, and he takes a Thanksgiving weekend job assisting Frank Slade, a blind, abrasive, and retired Army lieutenant colonel. what begins as like a simple little, quick way to make some money transforms into a bit of a journey for them both as Frank drags Charlie on a whirlwind trip to New York City. As the weekend unfolds, Charlie grapples with this moral dilemma that's going on at school, where him and a friend saw some other friends, or acquaintances really, prank the headmaster by destroying his newly gifted, what was it, a
Jaguar.
Jaguar, yeah.
Yeah.
And the dilemma that he's facing is that, like, he might get kicked out of school if he doesn't, like, turn these kids in. But he ain't no snitch, so... What's he supposed to do? Now, also, as Frank brings up throughout the movie, is that these kids are fucking rich. They're fine no matter what. You're poor. You need this scholarship. You need to be at this school, and they'll flip on you the moment they get. They don't give a fuck because it's a big club and you ain't in it, as George Carlin once said.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like his little conundrum. And all the while, Frank confronts his own despair and isolation, which culminates in some moments of redemption and understanding and growth and all those good things. So yeah, Marvin, kick us off. What'd you think about Scent of a Woman?
Yeah, no, this movie was truly great. I really enjoyed the story. I mean, it reminded me a lot of something else we watched, which was Holdovers. I mean, it's very similar.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think I would like this movie at first, but it really is just a good one all around. I want to say that it was a slow start, but I think some movies just have a better way of introducing you, like, to the world. And this one maybe just didn't have that, but it didn't make me enjoy the movie any less or anything. I think it's a me thing with slow starting movies that I have to kind of get over and embrace to get through some of these, like, amazing movies. So,
yeah. Well, that's usually I mean, not always, but a lot of the time that's a trait of these types of, like, character dramas where it's like you're really just watching movies about people. There's no really anything happening other than them interacting.
Monologue and dialogue.
Yeah. So those are generally a little bit slower. And I understand why you would feel that way because, like, and we don't get a lot of movies like that anymore. In fact, when we talked about the Holdovers, I was like blown away by that movie. Yeah. And I was like, wow, not only does this movie take place in the 70s, it feels like a movie, like, out of time. Like, we don't get movies like this anymore. In fact, I think that was the bulk of my thoughts on it, is just how we just don't get movies like that anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. They're out there, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah, the cast was great too. The setting was great. Honestly, loved everything. Al Pacino is fucking hilarious, and he was so goddamn loud in this movie. I was like, shit, is this motherfucker half deaf too? Like, he is so loud. It was insane. Like, every time he would, like, you know what I'm talking about too, when he would like yell and shit. It was like, bro, you're louder than everyone else. Yeah, it was good though.
Nice. Dusty?
Yeah, it's deserving of an Oscar type performance. Al Pacino delivered. This is like him. It's like peak Al Pacino, I guess. I mean, he's had some great younger roles, some great older roles, but he nailed this one. He's an aging guy, and the bravado he brings, the jokes, just everything, the delivery, the timing.
Yeah.
Is an amazing portrayal of somebody. And this goes into those what's that Mel Gibson movie, like The Man with No Face, where troubled young...
Oh, Elephant Man?
No, The Man with No Face.
Oh, The Man with No Face, okay.
Just troubled young kid gets some sort of mentorship from a curmudgeonly old, hermit who has some lessons to teach before they go out. It's just a wonderful story. I love this movie. It's been a while since I watched it, and it was great.
Nice. Let's not understate here how psychotic it is that this was Al Pacino's first Oscar.
I know.
Okay. Prior to this movie, he had been in, I'm just going to, The Godfather, okay? The Godfather 2.
Yeah, that's insane.
Dog Day Afternoon.
Fucking love that movie.
Scarface. What else? Godfather 3, of course. No, Serpico came after this. No. But it was mostly like Godfather movies, Scarface, and a couple of others that, like, he was already like a well-established, like, great actor, but it almost feels like in this movie, it feels like what we said with, like, Nicolas Cage with the movie he did where he plays himself. Can't remember the name of it. But
weight of massive talent,
unbearable weight of massive talent. Yeah, where in that movie you get the sense, the impression that like the filmmaker was like, "Hey Nick, just go be yourself. Be what everybody thinks you are." Feels the same with Al Pacino in this one, because he always has that like brash, like loud, sort of over the top, sometimes cartoonish
bravado
performances, and it's like Martin Brest was just kind of like, "Hey, just go be you, man. Just do what you gotta do," because he is cartoonish a lot in this movie, like "Hoo-yah!" And now, Marvin, these are a lot of like sayings that actually transcended the film. They're ingrained in pop culture. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard that. Like, that's Family Guy has referenced the "hoo-yah," and like a lot of these things that have become like sort of jokes over time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I just think it's kind of crazy that not that he doesn't deserve it. The role was great and his performance was great. It's just it took this long for him to
one
get
and
that.
only though is wild.
Yeah, it's that, and that's the other thing too. As I was going to say, is this is his only Oscar, which for it's for best performance. But yeah, in this he's just got this intensity and charisma, and I think he just like masterfully depicts a man who's grappling with like bitterness, and it's a pretty nuanced performance because there's times where he's mostly explosive and like has a lot of energy, like you just said, and then there's others with like that sort of like quiet, like vulnerability, like especially the scene at Thanksgiving dinner with his family where he's just getting fucking shit on by his nephew.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And he slowly, like you could see him like sinking into like his sadness. But yeah, he earned the Oscar obviously because he was able to capture the complexity of really what is the humanity of the character. And he tries to put on this like tough guy persona because, obviously that's what people do when they're dealing with trauma. And his trauma is actually pretty interesting. So he's a retired lieutenant colonel, and like in the beginning of the film, he's introduced to us as a war hero, but by his niece. But when we meet his nephew around Thanksgiving dinner, we learn he's not as heroic as we might think, because the reason he's injured is not because he fucking got hurt in battle. Like he was fucking juggling grenades like a fucking idiot.
Yeah. And drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it like really like kind of flips your perception of him. But that's, part of the thing. The movie explores these themes of like honor and loyalty and redemption. And by the time we get to that famous court scene speech by him, it's like, you've reached like the fullness of his character arc, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah. I think they did a really good job of just showing their relationship develop throughout the movie. Like he was super, like cold and whatever towards him, and we really see him just open up slowly, but not like in a like overt way or anything. It felt super natural.
And there's a really good chemistry between Chris O'Donnell and Al Pacino throughout the movie, so you actually like really like feel their relationship. I feel like.
Oh yeah, I think so.
It never kind of feels like forced or anything like that. And their relationship goes between being like deeply contentious to like pretty meaningful by the end, obviously. And they each like grow from each other.
Oh yeah. I love the way they played with like that concept of saving a life in this movie.
Yep.
Because you had Charlie like literally saving Slade's life, and then you had Slade saving Charlie's life by way of saving his future. So
yeah. Yep, exactly.
I thought that was awesome. Yeah.
Another thing too, a lot of credit goes to Al Pacino for his depiction of blindness. Which is pretty fucking good. And I read here on Wikipedia actually that he painstakingly researched his part for Scent of a Woman to understand what it feels like to be blind. He met clients of New York's Associated Blind, being particularly interested in accounts by those who had lost their sight due to trauma. Clients traced the entire progression for him from the moment when they knew they would never see again to the depression and through to acceptance and adjustments. The Lighthouse, which is an advocacy group for the blind, also in New York, schooled him in techniques that a vision-impaired person might use to find a chair and seat themselves, pour liquid from a bottle, light a cigar, etc. So he did a lot of research to really nail that role. And like that's one of the things that I was taken by is like he really sells the being blind thing. And also like the way the angle of the camera that's the way it's shooting him. Like he's always looking away from the camera, which is like, I don't know. I've never talked to a blind person in real life, but like I know they're always depicted as sort of like looking, I guess, away or just like at nothing, that sort of thing, like an empty stare. Yep. But yeah, he really sells that blindness. So that was cool. And again, like I just said, part of that is Martin Brest's direction, so we can't leave him out. Dusty mentioned it when he announced that we were going to watch this. Martin Brest directed the original Beverly Hills Cop. He's directed Midnight Run, something that you probably haven't seen and should. Meet Joe Black.
Yep. A career killer along the way, though.
Did he? Which one?
Jiggly.
Oh, Jiggly, yeah. Gigli, right. 2.6 on IMDb, the Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck fucking atrocity.
Killed him. Killed his career.
Yeah. But yeah, so he crafts this story that, it blends humor well with drama and the emotion and, all that good stuff. And he just did a really good job of like grounding the movie, I thought, with these moments of like sincerity and reflection and all that. And then we get to the big payoff at the end, which is the court scene. And whether or not our boy Chris O'Donnell, Charlie Sims, is going to stay at the school or not. And he's like, he's not snitching, Marvin. He's holding steady.
Nah,
he ain't going to snitch. No.
Yep.
And we get this really now famous speech from Al Pacino defending him. And obviously, as you said, it sort of saves him from getting kicked out of the school. What'd you think of that scene? Did you think it was cheesy? Because that's sort of like an old movie kind of trope of like the big speech.
Nah, I liked it, honestly. I mean, I can see how it could be a little cheesy, I guess, because it's like this retired guy just barging into this this thing, like just randomly making this big speech, and that's gonna sway everyone and see how cool and brave Charlie is. But I liked it, honestly. I thought it was fitting for the movie.
Nice. What about you, Dusty? Any other? Do you find that type of shit cheesy? I would assume not, but.
No, I mean, not really. I love a good monologue that impassions the audience and the crowd, where like it changes the narrative and things get behind them, because you're talking about threading the needle of society, really, and what is society except for what people think is right and wrong. And you can craft a narrative that you think is right, and people are not with it, and then you get them on your side just through the speech alone. I love those scenes; they're great.
And he kind of fucking shits on everybody too.
He does.
Like everybody gets the what for. But yeah, so a pretty simple story. I mean, there's not much to it. And, but you made the point. It's very similar, obviously, to the Holdovers. Well, the Holdovers is very similar to this. Like,
right.
But, there's nothing wrong with that. It's like a great character piece. It's just, this is a story about these two guys' growth, and kind of just funny little things that happen along the way. The other famous scene from this movie is the dance sequence. What is it? What's the dance that he does at the restaurant with the girl?
The tango.
Tango, yeah. So,
yeah, I love that callback too. I forgot exactly what they said.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Towards the end, if you get tangled up in the tango, just keep dancing or something like that.
You gotta tango your way out of getting tangled up.
Yeah, and then he said it kind of towards the end. I think it was after he kind of persuaded him to not take his own life. So yeah, that was cool. It's a great movie.
I totally forgot about the driving scene. That was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Go for a ride.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good pick, Dusty.
Yeah,
I honestly didn't even remember watching this. I was like, when I started, I was like, wait, do I even remember this? Like, I remembered the court scene. I remembered the dance. Like, I remembered like bits and pieces of it, but I didn't know if I remembered it because I just know of its existence and have seen clips over the years, or if I actually watched it. But I did watch it. I just don't remember obviously when that was. Probably years ago at some point. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Marvin. Do you guys have any other final thoughts on it?
When I was looking at some stuff, I just saw that a lot of people were apparently mad that he won, but I think it was because of, or they're saying it was because of what it was up against, which was the likes of Malcolm X, Denzel Curry, which was great. Apparently Clint Eastwood for Unforgiven was up that year.
Oh yeah, great role. Yeah, yeah.
And
Wow.
RDJ for Chaplin
Wow.
was.
Chaplin's good too.
So I love
I would.
Denzel and Malcolm X. So, but this movie, I wouldn't be mad if this won if I was like alive even when that was happening. But yeah,
Yeah, all those movies are very memorable, but this one, like this performance, I don't know how you could not give it to him.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just I think I can't believe he hasn't won another award like since like that's a little
Right.
fucking bizarre. I mean, I I might regret saying this, but I don't think I'm not a huge fan of Al Pacino, to be honest.
Yeah.
I do think he's a little bit over the top and cartoonish at times. And I'm one of the few people on earth that doesn't think Scarface is like that fucking good of a movie. Like it's a good movie, but the way people like talk about it, like especially growing up in like the early 2000s and 90s where like people who liked rap music and rappers at the time like fucking worship fucking Scarface, you know? Tony Montana was like such a huge figure in like that music scene back then. Maybe still is, I don't know, but I was just like I just always had Scarface like in my face of like that's the best fucking movie. And then GTA Vice City obviously plays with like aspects of it. And again, it's a great movie. It's just like everybody needs to fucking calm down a little bit. So I don't know. I'm not like that big of a Al Pacino fan, but you know, obviously his performance in this is fantastic, and he's a great actor. There's no questioning that. So I'm surprised that he hasn't won another award at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think my only gripe with the movie is that it's a little bit fucking long.
Not you saying that. Nah, that's crazy.
Yeah, you know, that was I was going to ask because I usually don't mind long movies when it's necessary. I just didn't think the length was that necessary in this one. I think it could have been a little bit shorter. That's all. Maybe like a half hour you could have shaved off of this. You know what I'm saying?
When I paused this movie for the first time, I was like at 36 minutes in, and I was like, holy shit, this thing's got another 2 hours. I totally forgot it was this long.
Yeah.
But and then I resumed it back up. The last 2 hours went by pretty fast. But there's a couple scenes you could say, but I mean, it's all character development. So it's like, how do you cut that out? Because I mean, you could make a Zack Snyder type film like this that's 12 hours long and it's all silent and slow-mo, but
I didn't feel like there was anything unnecessary, I guess, to be fair.
Correct. Yeah, that's how it felt to me. Like that, it doesn't feel like sometimes you're like, if it's 2.5 hours and you're starting to get a little antsy, you're like, okay, you could have cut a little bit out, but I didn't feel too much of that.
So you didn't feel the length, Marvin? You're good with it?
I didn't.
Wow. Okay, that's big. That's a big step for you. This is a big growth movie. Our characters grew, and so did Marvin in this movie.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
So, all right, good.
A lot of growth.
Well,
Chris O'Donnell hasn't really done I mean, I guess he's been busy with his TV show. He's been on 323 episodes of NCIS, but
I think 3.8 on IMDb, Batman and Robin kind of fucked his career.
Yeah.
Marvin's favorite.
Undeserving.
Batman.
I mean, truly undeserving.
Yeah.
Fuck. Well, not this one. Scent of a Woman has an 8 on IMDb, even 8.
Yeah.
What do we rate it, gentlemen? Dusty?
I give it an 8.5.
Okay, Marvin?
Oh, shit.
Give it
that's a 10, baby.
10?
You already know.
Woo!
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay. I would probably give it an 8 as well, just for the length, I think. A little long. Just a little bit long. I mean, it's a great movie, though. This would be a hard movie to, like, watch again. You know, we always use that as a stick of measuring.
Really?
Like,
I could throw this on Thanksgiving and it would be a good watch.
But
this
it wouldn't
is a good one, like to throw on in the background or just be like, I haven't watched it in a while. Let's sit down and watch some of these scenes that are great. Like, but
it wouldn't be like a once a year type of thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't think.
Nah, that's rare for me though. That's that's a very oh shit.
What?
Best of the best.
Dusty, didn't we?
That's Marvin.
No, we're good.
That was so wild. Marvin
I don't see him on my screen.
You guys don't see each other.
Oh, that's weird. So I can't hear him either.
Oh.
So.
That's
weird. No, I see him now.
Maybe I'll rejoin and come back.
Yeah, he sees you.
I got
now.
him. Yeah.
He doesn't hear you though,
no,
Dusty.
There we go.
Okay, so you're saying that's rare for you to rewatch something?
Yeah, you know, it has to be my favorites, really. Like, obviously, Interstellar, I watched that shit. Well, like I said, I don't have any type of satellite anymore, but
yeah.
I'll definitely watch that shit like once a year. But it has to be very special for me to.
You say satellite?
You know, like DirecTV or whatever the fuck.
What would that have to do with you watching it every year?
No, I'm saying like when something is on TV.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I'm sorry.
It just comes on randomly.
Yeah. No, I got you. Sorry. No, that's fair. I mean, yeah, I think I feel the same way there.
So I was just saying that's tough. Something you want to watch every year. That's hard.
Yeah. No, that's true. But yeah, no, great movie. I'm glad you picked this one, Dusty. That's slipped my radar as like a Thanksgiving-ish type of movie.
Yeah, it is. Thanksgiving adjacent.
Yeah. Glad you enjoyed it, Marvin. Folks, let us know in the comments what you think about Scent of a Woman. It is a classic. Have you seen it? Do you like it? Is there anything we missed? It was Marvin's first time watching it. Good job, Marvin.
Yes.
Well, as we wrap up, I do want to say one other thing, because Dusty mentioned slow motion and Zack Snyder, and I was sucking the dick of Superman and Lois earlier. In this last episode, there is a slow motion scene.
Oh.
And it's a decent length, but
oh shit,
it ain't just fucking somebody getting coffee in slow motion like fucking Zack Snyder likes to do. It was slow motion to show Superman's fucking speed. And it was fucking great. It might be one of the best slow motion scenes I've ever seen. So just an endless shout out to Superman and Lois. But that's going to do it for us this week, folks. Leave a like on the video if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you're listening on any of the other platforms like Spotify or Apple, subscribe to the show so you get notified when new episodes come out. Same thing on YouTube. All of our important links are down below. You can go to our website, harshlanguage.tv, to access all those links. And also consider joining our Discord if you want to know what we're watching for the month. We list out all of our scheduled and upcoming stuff, or we try to as best as we can. Next week, the final episode, excuse me, oh my God. The final episode of the month, we're doing Smile 2, which everybody's...
Ooh, let's go.
People are kind of freaking out about it, and I wasn't that big of a fan of the first one, so this movie's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, join us next week, folks. We will catch you then. Thanks for watching and or listening.
See ya.
Pasta.